bit. I'm going to show you how I helped a client that's in our coaching program add another 100K to their bottom line.
Wow.
No shit. I was like, whoa, this is like crazy stuff. And this is how powerful this stuff is. When you start taking the modules that we teach, the tools we teach, and you actually apply them step by step, I'm telling you, man, it'll change everything. It'll change your life.
Yeah, literally. Quite literally.
Literally change your life.
Yeah.
Overnight change your life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Got some people jumping.
Some decent attendance today. Yeah. Yep.
Right.
I'm ready to rock.
All right. Hey, well, welcome to the Wednesday webinar. Every Wednesday, we get together, a restaurant growth webinar community. We get here, we talk about usually a tool, a framework, some kind of way to kind of help you break free from where you are to where you want to be. The goal of this, of course, is to help you and just kind of like get unstuck. That's the biggest thing. We're all stuck. And you know what I always say, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, and expecting different results. Let's not do that. Let's try some new things and get some new results and get you the money and the life that you really want. One of the things I always say, all business problems are people problems. And that is something I've just learned from, 15 years of coaching over 3,000 restaurants. It happens no matter where I am in the world. All business problems are people problems. That's why restaurants all around the world all have the same problems. Doesn't matter what the currency is, doesn't matter what your economy is, doesn't matter what country you're in. Everyone has the same problems because they're all people related. So if you've never been on a webinar before, let's go over the ground rules real quick. Number one, have some fun. Number two, take notes. Research has shown if you write stuff down in your own handwriting, you are 70% more likely to remember the information 30 days from now. And that's my goal. And number three, take action. If you don't apply what you've learned, you haven't really learned anything. Remember, knowledge is not power. Application of knowledge is power. I mean, I write a bunch of books. If you read my books, you have some knowledge. But if you apply the tools out of the books, you apply the tools in the coaching program, you actually have power because now you actually start getting momentum and start changing things. And every once in a while, you're going to hear me say, hashtag WTSD. Everyone who's been on these calls knows what that means. It means write this shit down. Those are the actual little gold nuggets I want you to pick up. Now, if we've never met before, I am Donald Burns. I am the restaurant coach. I am a recovering restaurant owner. I'm also a consultant, a consultant for big, huge billion-dollar brands, Cisco Foods, US Foods, Shamrock Foods, Performance Food Groups, you name it. I've probably worked with some of their big clients, some big restaurant groups. I'm also a chef. I was a chef when I had my own restaurants. When I sold my restaurants, I got recruited by Wolfgang Puck, and I was an executive chef for Wolf for 5 years, went around the country opening restaurants for him, did the Academy Awards, all that stuff. I'm also an author. Well, probably best known for the Your Restaurant Sucks trilogy. Savage Restaurant Success is my latest book, and I have a new book coming out in 2025 called Ingredients. I'm also a restaurant investor, and I'm also a former member of the U.S. Air Force pararescue teams. Took a small break from my dad yelling and screaming at me when I was 18. And I went into the Air Force, and I was very, very fortunate to make a special operations team called Pararescue. And it was a game changer for me. Now, after I got out of the military, went back to college, worked in restaurants, found out I really loved it, decided to make it a career, and just started really working at restaurants. At 30, I opened my very first restaurant. And this is actually my very first restaurant. My very first restaurant was a small little hole-in-the-wall thing. 50 seats, open kitchen. I tell you, it was the love of my life. I love that thing. And I had thought, because at the time I opened a restaurant, I was 30. So I probably had close to 15 years of restaurant experience. Now, for a lot of people, you think 15 years of restaurant experience, that's pretty much all you need to be successful. I thought that too. And when I opened my restaurant, I really quickly learned I knew how to run a restaurant. I didn't know how to build a profitable brand. Now, my ego, my pride and denial just tell me, just keep working, keep putting, just keep doing the same thing over and over. Eventually it'll click. It didn't click. And I was very, very fortunate that one of my regulars was a very successful businessman. He sat me down one night for the talk and said, I'm really worried about you. And I said, what are you worried about? I'm worried you're not going to be open much longer. We're just like the best kept secret in town. He's like, the last thing you want to be as a restaurant is the best kept secret. I'm like, oh, damn it. He's right. So He offered to coach me. He offered to mentor me for a year. And he basically started off with this. He said, Donald, if I gave you a 3-digit lock and I said, open the lock, could you open the lock? I said, well, probably not. He said, what if I gave you the combination? I said, that would be amazing. I would love that. And then he took out a bev napkin. I have this bev napkin to this day in my other office. He took out a bev napkin, took a pen out of his pocket, and he wrote down 3 words. And the 3 words he wrote down changed my life, and has changed the life of over 3,000 restaurants over the last 15 years. Those 3 words were quite simple: people, product, process. And he said, the problem is you got the combination, you just don't have the combination in the right order. If I gave you a combination lock and said the combination's 3, 2, 1, but you keep putting in 1, 2, 3, even though you got the right numbers, but you have them in the wrong order, the lock won't open. Same thing. This 3P framework is the roadmap to getting the restaurant and life you want. All starts with people. People are everything. We start with mindset, your limiting belief systems. And trust me, you have some really outdated belief systems we have to update and we have to change. You also have some bad habits we have to change. Then we talk about culture. Culture drives everything. Without an accountability culture, your team's never going to follow recipes. They're not going to care about waste. They're not going to care about doing the checklist. It's not ever going to kind of get into get this thing going on all cylinders. And then hiring, we got to get the right people on the team, get the right people on the right spot in the team. Then we get into product. Now, a lot of you are looking at that marketing piece going, oh, Donald, that's what I need. I just need marketing. I just need to get more butts in seats. Here's the thing. If your menu's not profitable, do not open up the marketing floodgates, because all you're doing is just going to make busier. You're just going to keep bleeding out. You got to fix that. How do we do that? Well, we fix the menu first. And how do we fix the menu? We got to understand our food cost. So it's food cost, then menu, and then marketing. And then finally, process is all about protection, system strategy, and then those high levels of profitability. The average person in our coaching program easily makes, I think the average right now is 19.8% profit is what the average restaurant does. I had a client the other day, or actually she called me, her call was yesterday. I had a client call me yesterday. Her profit last month, and this is no BS, her profit last month was 36%. Well, she's a breakfast place and she sells a lot of eggs, but that's a huge thing, especially when she started with me. She was probably barely at 10%. And now she's like killing it, crushing it, because she took the tools I gave her and she actually applied them. Remember, application is the secret. I can give you every tool in the world, but if you don't apply it properly, don't put the combination in the right order, the lock will not open. Now, every restaurant in the world is divided into 4 categories. Doesn't matter where you are. There's bad, good, great, outstanding. Now, it's all us. And I'll tell you right now, it's also based on profitability. Bad restaurants are breaking even or losing money. 20% of all restaurants in your market right now are in that spot right now. Maybe you're there. You might be at that spot where you're losing money, or you might be, maybe you have a good month and you finally break even, or you might be just a little bit above. Right? Next level up is where 60% of all restaurants are. This is where most of our coaching clients come from. They're usually in the good category. And that means you're usually doing the national average, anywhere from 2 to 6% profit. The problem is that's not a lot of room for error. You have a good month, you feel on top of the world. Then you have a bad month, like the oven breaks down, the walk-in goes down, you have something happen, and then all that cash flow that you made, that little bit of profit, all gets sucked away, and then you're back to zero again. That sucks. You want to talk about being on a stress-filled roller coaster, like up and down. That was my first restaurant. I was in the good category. I was struggling. I would wake up at 2 a.m. Oh my God, the anxiety. Oh my God, payroll's due. Oh, and sales tax is due. Oh my God, I also gave that vendor a check. I hope it's busy this weekend so all the checks clear on Monday. If you've ever been there before, you know exactly what I'm talking about, being in that good category. And that next level up is what we call great. Now, great is a danger zone because now you're starting to make a little bit of money, anywhere from 7 to 15% profit. The problem is that you start making a little bit and you're working really hard, and then you back up a little bit and you don't implement or put the pressure on as much as you do. And sadly, a lot of restaurants get to that great level and then they do what I call is the backslide, and you backslide back down to good. My job as a coach is to keep that accountability and keep pushing you till I get you to that top level. I want to get all my clients to that top level, what I call is outstanding. Only 5% of restaurants in your market are outstanding. What does that mean? Only 5% are making 18% or higher. Right? It's good news because there's a lot of room for improvement. And if you're not there, I can get you there. How do we get you there? We use a program. It's called the Restaurant Accelerator. Restaurant Accelerator is my step-by-step roadmap to get you to the top. Okay. It's so powerful. So powerful. This thing has changed the lives of thousands and thousands of restaurants. Why? Because it works. Because I used it on my own restaurants. And then after I used it on my own restaurants, I used it to start teaching other restaurants. And over the years, I have just fine-tuned this thing. I got this thing so dialed in. It is amazingly accurate. And here's the thing. It's also amazingly predictable. If you follow the roadmap, you can't go wrong. We have a saying that we use all the time, especially all my certified coaches. We say, if you want to win the game, all you got to do is just follow the frame. Step by step, these frameworks work. And you just do them in order. You start off with strengths, then you start in culture, then you go hiring, then we move into food costs, then we move into menu, then we move into marketing, then we move into process. We get some accountability systems in, some strategy going. How do we grow this thing? How we scale this thing? How we build this thing up? How we get some cash reserves? And then the profitability is all about not only how do I make money, but how do I keep money? How do I grow money? Most restaurateurs are good at one. I would say there's 3 buckets you have to have, kind of 3 skill sets you have to have as a restaurateur. Number 1, you got to be able to make money. And if you got sales, congratulations, you've reached number 1. Number 2, you got to learn how to keep money. That's where a lot of restaurants go sideways. I have a lot of clients come to me, do $3 million in sales, do 2% profit. That's a different skill set. When you have that kind of sales and you don't make any money, trust me, that's a skill set you don't want. Also a bunch of bad habits that we have to change. And then finally, that last thing you want, that last bucket you need is how to grow money. Because you got to learn how to take your money and grow it. Because without that, you're not going to have a financial future. And that's just like a house of cards. I don't want you to have that. Now, today's module, what we're going to talk about today, actually is kind of it's a little extract out of my Extreme Menu Makeover course. The Extreme Menu Makeover course is like 8 hours. So, of course, this is an hour webinar. I can't go over all the principles and tools and techniques, but we do have this one available. And the big thing I will tell you is coaching is a lot like this. All of you have a bucket. And your goal as a restaurateur is to fill the bucket with cold, hard cash. You want that bucket just filling up and flowing over with cash flow. But the problem is, most of you, your bucket looks like this. You got holes in your bucket. You got a lot of holes in your bucket. And if you're bleeding out money, the more you're bleeding out, the more holes you have. And the problem is that you think just filling the bucket up with sales, getting more marketing, getting more people in the door is going to fix the holes. It doesn't. All it does is just cause more holes in the bucket, right? You heard of that saying, death by 1,000 paper cuts? This is how most restaurants go down the tubes. They have 1,000 little holes in their bucket. Now, what does coaching do? Coaching will actually give you the tools and the techniques and the training to plug the holes. And we start plugging up these holes in your bucket. Now, when we start putting that cash in, that sales coming in, now our revenue starts climbing up in our bucket. And so instead of low profit, we slowly start increasing kind of that revenue margin. We start slowly creeping up and getting up. Going from 2% to 5% is pretty easy. 5 to 7 is kind of, it's a little harder because you got to change some habits. The next kind of line in the sand is 10%. Getting you to 10% is usually pretty good, pretty easy. But then we have like a kind of a threshold. We have to change some habits, change some mindset to get you past 10%. After we get you past 10%, the next kind of threshold is going to be 15%. Once they get you past 15%, then the sky's the limit because now you have some really great habits. By the time you get to 15% profit margin, you have some really amazing habits. And now not only do you learn how to make the money, but keep the money, but now you're also starting to learn how to grow the money. That's what we want. All right. Fair enough. All right. Kevin says, I'm the GOAT. I need a shirt that says that, Kevin. That's be awesome. All right. You want to make more money? Who wants to make more money? Type in the chat, me, if you want to make more money. If you want to make more money, focus on making your menu profitable. Profitable is the name of the game here. We're not playing around. We want to make some money and we want to keep some money. So let's work on keeping some money today. Let's talk about menu makeover madness. Oh, okay. So when was the last time you gave your menu, a real hard look? An honest look, not just glancing over it, but truly, really evaluating the impact that your menu has on your bottom line. Too often, restaurants they fall into this trap of serving items that don't sell. Here's the thing. It's a slow bleed on your profits. It really crushes your kitchen efficiency and also your brand reputation. Here's the truth. Write this down. Your menu is a sales tool, not a scrapbook of random dishes that you're emotionally attached to. Being a chef, I can tell you the hardest thing for chefs to do is drop their freaking ego. Oh, sorry, I almost said the other F word. Drop their freaking ego and just get a menu that makes money. Okay. You got to get off this bandwagon of that you have some higher calling or you're an artist. There's a reason why they say starving artist. Yeah. There's a reason why that's a stereotype because they usually starve. You don't want to be a starving artist. I want you to be a rich, filthy rich restaurateur. That's my goal. So if you're serious about creating a profitable, efficient and guest-focused menu, it's time for a menu makeover. And I'm not just talking about redesigning it just to look pretty. I'm talking about deep diving into the data. Hashtag write this down. Data drives decisions. Talk about cutting that dead weight. Talk about crafting a lean, mean, money-making machine. If you're with me, type in the chat, amen, I'm with you. Let's do this. Who's in? Who's in? Who's in? Give me an amen. I need an amen today. I'm feeling very motivated today, Luke. All right, here's the brutal truth about your menu. And this is how I want you to start thinking about your menu. Every item on your menu is like real estate. Some items are like a penthouse with skyline views, and they bring in the big bucks, and guests love them. And then you got some other items on your menu that are kind of like in the basement. They just take up space and they drain your resources. If you're still clinging to that signature dish that you love, but no one orders, or you have that 15 ingredient, monstrosity that keeps your food costs sky high, it's time to make some cuts. And I can tell you from being a chef, we love complexity in the kitchen. I always chefs like to chef shit up. And that's like the worst thing you do. So many times when I'm coaching chefs, it's great because I'm a chef. I say, hey, man, I know what you're doing. I see you chefing that shit up. Stop it. Okay. Chefs are their own worst enemy because that ego just gets in the way and you just can't break free. It's hard to break free from that. It's hard to break free. It's hard to break free. Right. So here are some of the top problems. Top problems with a bloated, ineffective menu. Number one, low profitability. Serving dishes with high food costs, low margins. This drags your overall profitability down. Waste and inefficiency. Rarely ordered dishes just lead to wasted ingredients and also a slower kitchen. Guest confusion. Oh my God. A cluttered menu overwhelms your guests. We have a thing in menu design, we call it paradox of choice. It makes them very hard to decide, which causes anxiety. And if they're stressed, they won't be back. And then also we have that brand misalignment. If your menu is all over the place, your brand identity will take a hit. I know there's a lot of people out there that do this, so-called, I'm doing the air quotes right now. If you can't see me, I'm doing air quotes. Do that fusion cuisine. Hashtag write this down. 9 times out of 10, fusion cuisine is more confusion cuisine. It doesn't make any sense. I had a guy one time like, hey, I'm thinking about doing Greek sushi. Why? Because no one else is doing Greek sushi. There might be a reason why no one's doing Greek sushi. Okay. Might be a reason. Hashtag write this one down. Put it somewhere you can see. If it doesn't sell or if it isn't profitable, it's not worth serving, period. Take a screenshot of that, put it somewhere where you can see it, and I want you to put it right next to your menu. If it doesn't sell, if it isn't profitable, it is not worth serving. So how do we fix this? Number one, you gotta know your numbers. Now, before you grab that red pen, and I know half of you got your menus out right now and you got a Sharpie and you're starting to slash stuff on your menu. Well, that's got to go. That's got to go. That's got to go. No. Before we start doing all that stuff, we need cold, hard data. Remember, data drives decisions. This isn't about what feels like a good seller or what your gut says or what you think might sell really well. This is about what do the numbers say? Because the numbers don't lie. Here's what you need to analyze. Your sales mix report. We call this a product mix report or a P mix report. That will identify exactly what's my best and worst sellers. And I will tell you another thing too. I usually make this bet with restaurant owners. When I do site visits with restaurants, I'll make them a bet. I'll make them $100 bet. I'll say, what's your best selling item on the menu? And then they'll tell me. And I'll say, run a product mix report for the last 90 days. If your item is the number one seller, I'll give you $100. Now, if the item you said is not the number one seller, you owe me $100. I will tell you most of the time on my site visits, 9 times out of 10, I walk away with $100 because what you think is popular might not be popular. There's a thing in psychology called confirmation bias, which means like every time you walk by the window, you see that dish in the window, you go, man, we must sell out. That must be super popular. No, it's just because you just happen to see it all the time, right? Another thing you need is a profitability analysis. This is which items deliver the highest margins, which ones are bleeding you dry. Also, you need to understand your food cost percentages. This is what we talk about in food costs. We talk about theoretical versus actual food cost. Every month, someone will call me and say, Don, my food cost is 30%. Is that good? And I'll say, I don't know. And they'll say, what do you mean you don't know? Aren't you the restaurant coach? I go, yeah. But I said, let me ask you a question. What's your theoretical food cost? And then they'll say, I don't know. And I'll say, that's the problem. Because if your theoretical food cost is 28, then the 30% actually is a really good food cost because you should be able to run 2% above theoretical. Now, if you're like the average restaurant in the United States, you have a 9-point gap between theoretical and average. So like most restaurants, the guy calls me 30%. If his theoretical is 21, like most restaurants, he's got some work to do and he's leaving a lot of money on the table. But the problem is we Google like what's an ideal food cost for a restaurant. If you go to Google, it's going to give you averages. We are not average, people. Your restaurant should never subscribe or prescribe or be like addicted. I want to be the best average restaurant in the world. No, please. Don't go by averages. There's things we call benchmarks. Benchmarks are kind of like just lets me know if I'm in the ballpark or not, but it's not going to get me a home run. I got to be able to dial it in tighter. And also, I need to look at my inventory impact. I have to understand how every item affects my inventory and also my kitchen workflow. That's step one. You got to know your numbers. Hashtag write this down. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. In fact, you don't have a business. You have a hobby. You have a very, very expensive hobby. And trust me, your spouse is probably getting very, very tired of that hobby, not giving them the lifestyle they want, not be able to go on vacations when they want to. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Step two, you got to categorize your menu. This is where we talk about menu engineering. Once you gather the data, you got to put every dish into what we call a stratification. Now, in our Extreme Menu Makeover workshop, I give you a Excel spreadsheet. This is where you're going to take 3 things. You're going to take your theoretical food cost, what every item costs you to make. You're going to take the product mix report, like what's the popularity, number of what items you sell. And then you're going to put in what the current price is on your menu. You're going to put it into the spreadsheet. It's going to do all its magic mumbo jumbo, hocus pocus, wizardly shit. It's going to create what we call stratification. It's going to put things into 4 classifications: stars, plow horses or puzzles. All right, plow horses, or I also call them workhorses. Puzzles or challenges, and then we have the dogs, okay? Stars are your highly profitable and also highly popular. These are your heroes. You double down on those things. Plow horses are your low profit but high popularity. This means guests love them, right? But they don't make you a lot of money. These are items that need to either be price changed, portion changed, or protein changed. And then puzzles are like my favorite category. Why? Because puzzles are already profitable already, but they're just not popular yet. These are the dishes that I want to start marketing better. And also, I want to put on the menu in a really good spot to give them a better chance of selling more. Hashtag write this down. When you're posting on social media that boring picture of your lasagna, the one question I will ask you, if you're a client of mine, I will DM you randomly and I'll say, what's the stratification of that dish? Number one, you should know it's a star, a plow horse, a puzzle, or a dog. And number two, if you tell me it's a plow horse, you're in trouble. We never ever promote our plow horses because they're already popular, but they're not profitable. I never want to promote a plow horse or workhorse. I only want to promote my stars and my puzzles. When you start doing that in your social media marketing, trust me, game changer. And then dogs are dogs, right? And here's the thing too about this menu engineering kind of schematic. A lot of restaurants, when they figure out their food cost, they freak out and they'll call me right away. Donald, oh my God, the food cost in that dish is 37%. I got to take it off. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. And then they'll say, or they'll run their product mix report because they never ran a product mix report. Oh my God, I don't sell any of those. I need to take it off. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Wait. It's the juxtaposition of popularity and profitability is what we want to look at. That's why we need data. Without the data, I'm going to be making bad decisions. It's the same thing. I'll have people every month, some client will send me their menu and say, hey, can you look at my menu and tell me what to change? And I say, I would love to if you have a menu engineering worksheet, because I can't give you design input without data behind it. That would be stupid of me. That would be like me giving you a prescription without seeing you at the doctor's. Like you're saying, hey, I'm not feeling well. All right, here, I'm going to send you a prescription over the phone. And then realize that you're allergic to that medication. That would be stupid on my end. Well, that's the same thing like me looking at your menu and just giving you some blanket design. I mean, there's some things we can do just with design work itself, but you want to have the best impact and also profitability. You got to have the menu engineering behind it. After we have that down, next thing is step 3, you got to trim the fat. This is the hard part, cutting the dead weight. Hashtag, write this down. Take your ego out of menu, right? Take your ego out of the menu. This isn't personal. This is pure business. Remove items that are not selling. Remove items that have a super high food cost, unless you can maybe move them around or change some of the profitability on them, right? Remove items that don't align with your brand or your concept. Remember, confusion is the worst thing. If your guest is confused, you lose. And then also, maybe you got to get rid of some of those items that are just a pain in the ass to source. I know COVID put the supply chain into a tailspin and sadly hasn't really recovered 100% from that. And there's some items just hard to get nowadays, okay? And here's a pro tip. Streamlining your menu not only boosts profitability, but also improves kitchen efficiency and guest satisfaction. Hashtag, write this down, less really is more. And then number 4, got to optimize your layout. Okay. Oh, I think I got the wrong thing. Optimize your layout. Oops. Got the wrong thing on the slide here. Hold on. Real quick. Let's go back a slide. You got to optimize the layout for your slide, for your thing. Okay. Optimizing layout's pretty good, pretty straightforward. So optimizing layout. So when we talk about optimizing layout, there's a couple things I need to do. And when I talk about optimizing layout, the things I want to do is quite simple. Give me 1 second and I will show you. All right. So once you trim the menu down, we got to redesign to maximize sales. To do that, remember, people's eyes don't wander randomly. They follow patterns. So what I like to do is there's a thing in menu design that's called the golden triangle. In the Extreme Menu Makeover workshop, I'll give you a real depth, whole deep dive into that. Guests typically look at the center and then they kind of look to the right and then the left. I like to place my stars in in that golden triangle, or also my puzzles. Menu engineering psychology, highly profitable items, especially my puzzles or my challenges. I'll put boxes on them. I'll put bold fonts. I'll use icons. I'll use arrows. And again, descriptive language always helps. Mouth-watering descriptions, make sure dishes just sound irresistible. And again, keep it simple. You want a clean, easy to read format. The number one design mistake most restaurants make is this. They design it in an office with really good lighting. And then you take that menu out into your restaurant at dinner time, and guests are like using their phone with their little flashlight to read everything because they can't see what the hell's going on. You don't want that. That sucks. Okay. That sucks. Now, in the Extreme Menu Makeover workshop, again, 8 hours of stuff. Plus, I'm going to give you my menu design Bible. This is an 80-page menu design. I mean, it is the menu design Bible. It's 80 pages for a reason. It's everything I've learned about menu design over the last 40-something years. I just threw it all in here. It's everything in the kitchen sink. And it's part of the Extreme Menu Makeover workshop. So you'll get that in there too. And then step 5, you got to test and you got to refine it. Got to test and you got to refine this sucker. Okay. Your menu makeover isn't a one and done. After you implement the changes, you want to monitor results and you want to make adjustments. Ask yourself some questions. Are guests ordering the dishes that you want? Are your food costs improving? Are your kitchen operations running a little bit smoother? Is guest satisfaction a little bit higher? All right. The proof is in the pudding as far as the results. And you should be doing a menu everyone should do a menu engineering workshop every quarter. All the members of our accelerator program are told you must do a menu engineering workshop every quarter, put all the stuff into the spreadsheet, get the stratifications, and then you can send it over to one of your coaches, and then we'll do an analysis and we'll help you kind of give you a plan to maximize your potential. So how does all this work together? Well, let's talk about the profit potential of menu engineering and smart design. Remember, it's like it's a 1-2 punch. If I was going to say jab, right, cross, menu engineering and design is a 1-2 punch. So let's talk real numbers here. Nothing drives action like seeing real results. So if your restaurant's doing like the national average, the average restaurant in the United States does 1.1 million. And they usually have a profit margin around 2%. That means you're only taking home around $22,000 a year. That sucks. I mean, come on. That really sucks. For all the hard work, the sweat, the sacrifice, that's barely a trickle to your bottom line. But here's the thing. When you do this 1-2 combination, menu engineering and psychological menu design, you will see, I'm not saying hope, no, you will see a significant increase in profitability. Here's the thing. These strategies don't just improve what's on your menu. They fundamentally shift guest spending habits. By shifting guest spending habits, we maximize revenue and we boost efficiency. Okay? This is like game-changing stuff when I really understood this at a deep level. So here's a breakdown of how this works. Okay? Increase profit margin by optimizing the menu mix. So just with menu engineering, you're going to focus on eliminating the low margin items. You're going to kind of dial in a strategically priced plan to take those high profit items to maximize revenue. And we're going to talk about upselling, how we can use upselling to push those profitable dishes through design and also a lot of staff training. We have a program that we teach. It's called neuroselling. Neuroselling is, I've taught this neuroselling workshop over the years to probably over 500 restaurants, in person. I'm actually going to Mississippi and I'm going to Missouri. I'm going to Missouri in January to teach it at a restaurant group. I'm going to teach them neuroselling. And I'll tell you, neuroselling can increase your sales 20% overnight. It's the most crazy thing in the world. And neuroselling comes from the stuff I learned studying and learning and being certified in NLP. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. I teach your team how to make recommendations that are actually going to drive the guest check up without being pushy. No one likes going to a restaurant and being kind of like pushed on buying more stuff. But if I showed you a great way where they can actually make recommendations, sincere recommendations, and also stimulate growth in sales, works for everybody. Okay. So let's say even a conservative improvement. Let's say you go from 2% to 7%. That would, for a lot of restaurants, 2 to 7% would transform your restaurant overnight. If you're doing 1.1, 7%, that's $77,000. That's an additional $55,000 in your pocket without increasing guest count or expanding your operations. Isn't that cool? Now, also, what does it do? It also boosts averages through menu design. So we're going to take that menu engineering and now we're going to take it and we're going to implement it into a really good psychological design period. And we're going to show you how menu design, especially psychological menu design, can really, really influence guests. I can actually get you to buy what I want you to buy by where I place it, how I place it, what I put it, how I word it. It's really, really crazy. I can highlight higher margin items. I can upsell through add-ons, combos, premium options. I can use price psychology, like instead of $19.99, just say $20. I can take the dollar signs off to increase the average spend. So let's just say you increase your average check spend just by $1.50 a guest, which is nothing. And you serve 300 guests a day. $1.50 times 300 guests times 365 days. That's $164,000 added in additional revenue. And with a profit margin of 7%, you just added another $11,497 to your bottom line. Can you start seeing where this starts compounding? We call this the compound effect, where we start taking things, we start stacking them, and we start actually getting this compound effect. And of course, what else happens when we start redesigning our menu, revamping everything? We reduce food cost, all right? Food cost waste, operational inefficiencies. Just by taking off those dogs, which are low profit, low performing items, and streamlining our inventory a little bit, you're going to cut food waste and improve kitchen efficiency. Typically, this results, and I've seen this over the years. This is from 15 years of experience working with 3,000 restaurants. I typically see a 1 to 2% improvement in overall profitability just by reducing waste. So again, now let's take that thing. We got that $1.1 million restaurant. Now we add another 2% to bottom line. Now we're adding another 22% in savings annually, which goes right back to your bottom. When we talk about plugging holes in the bucket, this is how we plug holes in the bucket, people. This is exactly how we do it. And how does this all work together? Total impact. When I put all these things together, we talk about the synergy effect. When I put all these things together, this is what happens. And this is just, I mean, this is like easy money. Increased profit from profit margins, 55K. Increased profit from boosted check average, another 11,497. Savings from reduced waste and efficiency gain, another 22K. Total additional profit, 88,497. That is nearly 4x increase to your bottom line. Simply by engineering your menu and leveraging smart psychological principles. I mean, come on. I mean, you've already put in the work. You already have a menu. Isn't it time to make your menu work just as hard for you? This stuff is a game changer, and it will save your restaurant. It will save your everything if you just apply the tools that we teach you. Now, if you're in the accelerator program and you have done a menu engineering worksheet, you can send the data over to me or one of our coaches. And what we do is we put it into our little kind of thing, and we'll kick out a report to you. This is a actual report I just sent out to a client. And I sent this out to a client, and what we did is it's a 5-page report. I will go through your menu engineering. I'll go through your menu, and I will give you a step-by-step plan on how to basically take that thing and maximize every freaking penny you can out of that menu. And when we did this and we started applying this stuff, here's what happened. He had an increased profit of $100,000. That's crazy stuff, people. Just by applying menu engineering and using psychological menu design principles, we were able to extract out another 100K. I mean, what would 100K do to you? What would 100K do to your bottom line? What would 100K do to your life? For some of you, that's a life changer. Not just a game changer, that's a life changer. And the beautiful thing is that we will take you step by step down the roadmap in Extreme Menu Makeover, right? I give you every module you need. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours of training. Talk about design, talk about that menu psychology, about how to price your menu properly, not just based on what the competition's doing. Tell you how to position your brand, how to position your menu in the market, how we're going to write menus better to get more attractive, how to stimulate those sales, how to use that menu engineering again to extract out what's the good data that I can use. Now taking that data, now we're going to put it and make a really, really great menu design that's easy for us to do. And then how to roll out an effective menu, a step-by-step checklist on how to roll out a really, really effective menu. That is the Extreme Menu Makeover. It is I tell you, of all the courses I teach, I think the Know Why workshop, the culture one, and extreme menu makeover are my exact favorite ones, because I see so many. Those two are the most powerful ones that change restaurants overnight. All right. So your menu is not just a list of dishes. I know you think it is. It is the single most powerful profit driver in your restaurant. If you're clinging to items that don't sell, if you're ignoring the psychology of guest decision making, or you're running your menu on autopilot, trust me, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Imagine what it would feel like to go from barely scraping by at 2% to thriving at 7, 10, 12, 15% profit. I mean, that's not just extra money in the pocket. That's breathing room. I mean, breathing room to reinvest in your business. Pay yourself what you're worth. I get so many clients that, like, you know, I mean, they're opened up and they're just opening. And I remember, this is from my own personal experience. When I opened my first restaurant, I could only take a draw of $250 a week. That's all I could pay myself. It sucked. It sucked. You want to talk about beating you up mentally? Talk about just crushing your identity. It is a soul sucker not to be paid what you're worth. Now, I have clients in our accelerator program that pay themselves what they're worth. Most of my clients pay themselves way over 6 figures, way over 6 figures now. Most of my clients usually make anywhere from $250,000 to $400,000 a year running a restaurant. I mean, that's a life changer. Okay. That's getting yourself paid for what you're worth. All right. Imagine if you had 5 restaurants. I have an advanced program. It's called Restaurant Empire Builder. Restaurant Empire Builder, I show you how to build up to 5 restaurants and how to make $1 million in profit with 5 restaurants. It's not hard. The average restaurant does 1.1 million. If you have 5 restaurants, that's over 5 million in sales. At 20% profit, that's $1 million in profit. It's not hard. Restaurant success is not rocket science. It's just people science. That's why coaching is so valuable. You need someone who understands the people science. Okay. You deserve a lifestyle that you dreamed of when you open the doors. I'm not telling you, menu engineering and strategic design are not optional. They are necessary. That's how you control the destiny of your restaurant. Instead of letting slim margins and efficiency control you, take control. The first step starts today. Stop serving stuff that doesn't sell. Get the data, make data-driven decisions. Craft a menu that works for you, not against you. I mean, come on. I know if you're on this call, I know you've got the passion. I know you've got the drive. I know you got the talent. Now it's time to align your menu with your goals and unleash your true potential. To do that, I want to talk to you about the Accelerator program. For the last 15 years, this thing has helped over 300 restaurants. And the reason why is that coaching gives you 2 crucial elements that you need. You need new tools, and you need accountability, and you need to change some old habits. And remember, if you could change your old habits on your own, you would have by now, and you would not be on this call because you'd be making 20, 22% profit, and you wouldn't even be here. But here you are, right? It's kind of like getting a personal trainer to the gym. Like, I can go to the gym and work out, but if I have a trainer who pushes me, tells me do 1 more rep, no, go like 5 pounds heavier. No, eat this, do this, work out this time, don't work out, take a rest day. I get better results. My fitness trainer has helped me transform my body in the last 6 months. And I couldn't have done it without a coach. And a lot of my friends are like, how do you get such great results? I hired a trainer before. How have you gotten such great results so fast, Donald? And here's what I say. I just do what the coach tells me to do. That's it. If you just do what your coach tells you to do, it's not hard, but you got to do the work. Someone once said that coaching with me is like kind of like running your restaurant on rocket fuel. It's exactly what I want you to be. I want you to have enough rocket fuel that you can launch your restaurant into the stratosphere and get everything you desire. The Restaurant Accelerator program is the step-by-step roadmap. Now, inside the Accelerator program, you can get all the modules you see here. Plus, I'm going to give you tons of other modules too, because I want to make sure you have all the tools you need. You're going to get tons of workshops. You get tons of downloads. You get tons of replays. You get group calls each week. We have 3 group calls each week. We have a Tuesday accelerator call, which is for the group. Every Wednesday, we have these webinars. Every Thursday, I have a group Q&A called the I Coach that you can go on and ask me any questions about your restaurant. And you're also going to get one-on-one coaching with a certified restaurant coach. A certified restaurant coach is someone I hand-selected who has been a restaurant owner who understands your pain because they've been there. And they are trained in my TRC method to help you get the restaurant and life you desire. They are very, very skilled to get you down this roadmap, but you got to do the work. And also you got to step forward and get going. It's over 200 hours of material just in your members area, 380 downloads. All you got to do is just talk to someone on the restaurant growth team. I'm sure Luke will give a link or something somewhere. Woo, I tell you. Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. Anybody have any questions? Questions. Who loves a good question? I love good questions. Tanya said it's too much for you. What's too much?
Oh, this is great stuff here. You're on a roll here. I love it.
I'm telling you, man. I'm fired up
in the zone. Yeah. Khan is asking, Khan, yes, Khan, there is going to be a link to watch it again.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's in your members area, the webinar portal. Yeah. Yep. A 10-table restaurant. Cool. All right. I will tell you right now, Tanya, if you can't afford that, I mean, the webinar program's great. Okay. Do you mind if I offer him something, Luke? That it's not a growth thing. Is that okay? I mean, I don't want to like step on. I have a program, Tanya. It's called the TRC Vault. The TRC Vault is $47 a month, and you get 27 courses. And you can jump on the Q&A calls on Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, Tanya needs some help, but look, she's saying, I'm not exactly understanding. I think she was saying that there's basically zero margin or something.
Yeah, most people are zero margin. Yeah.
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 Donald, I'll send you Tanya's email and then you can get her that.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I don't want to beat people up on that, but the accelerator is the best investment, hands down, because it will get you the fastest growth. All right. It's really, I mean, I'm telling you, the people who jump into the accelerator program, it pays for itself. Here's the thing. It's not a cost. It's an investment. And we actually will get you there. Okay. We will get you there. All right. We'll get you there really, really fast. I mean, we have like a 90-day kind of promise.
Got a question here coming in. So Yini's asking, how quickly can the accelerator steps be executed?
So you'll start seeing some progress pretty fast. Usually the first 30 days, you won't see a lot because we're changing habits. The next 30 days, the 60-day mark, you'll start seeing some slow movement on the needle. Normally within 90 days, if you're like losing money or breaking even, we can get you at least 5%. That's our goal. And then after that, it starts going like, again, profit margins, there's like little thresholds. And I've done this, again, thousands of restaurants. 5% is a pretty easy threshold to get to. But once we get that, then we got to get you to 10. Once we get you to 10, there's another kind of set of habits and tools we have to give you that will break you past 10. Okay. It's really, really awesome. Yeah. What can I do when I have DoorDash and Uber Eats? DoorDash and Uber Eats. Yeah. DoorDash and Uber Eats is a number one. All right, we could do a whole webinar on third party. I'll kind of go down. I'll give you the cliff notes. When I have third party, number one, you should always try to convert third party to first party. What does that mean? Every time an order goes out the door with Uber Eats or DoorDash, I should have a QR code or something in the bag that says sign up for our loyalty program and order directly. Because what the problem is with DoorDash and Uber Eats is they own the data. They own the guest information. I want their information so I can email them. So you want to start collecting data. You want to do what we call third to first party conversions. Another thing a lot of people do is they love, they basically will raise their prices. Like DoorDash and Uber Eats charge a premium and they take a percentage of the fees. Everyone knows if I'm ordering for convenience, I have to raise my prices on those platforms. So most restaurants I know raise their prices 30% on takeout and delivery using third party. It's another reason why you want to convert to first party. It's like, hey, if you want to come by and pick up at the restaurant, I can save you that 30%. Or if you remember our loyalty program, I can give you some really great, you can get rewards and earn points for what you spend here. Okay. So yeah. Uber Eats and DoorDash, I mean, they're like a thorn in the side, but sometimes they're a necessary thing. Yeah, there are also some services that will dispatch drivers for you. It depends on what market you're in. If you're in a major metropolitan area, you can usually drive people to your online platform to order from you, and then you can use a third-party delivery service to deliver the food from your restaurant out. Okay. But again, anytime I'm using somebody else's delivery service, I'm not really sure what I'm getting. Yeah.
We've got Steve with his hand raised.
Oh, yeah.
Steve, if you wanna talk, you are able to unmute yourself, my friend. What's going on?
Yeah, I was just mentioning the third party.
Mhm.
You can actually go on self delivery. They take you right to 15%.
Oh, that's
But
cool. Yeah.
but then you can sign up for a company that will dispatch their drivers to pick up their orders.
Yep.
And you can also send your own orders on it, and it automatically puts you to 15%.
That's cool. Yeah, I've seen those before. What market are you in?
Charlotte.
Yeah. See, if you're in a major metropolitan area, yeah, like you're like in, you're in Gallup, New Mexico, you're not gonna be able to find that. But if you're in a major metropolitan area, that's a great option, especially because most of the big major metropolitan areas have that other third-party delivery service that you can actually get onto, and that's awesome too. Just remember, the biggest thing we want to do with any kind of third parties, you want to convert them. You want their data. Because right now,
Yeah.
Uber Eats so you want to make sure you have some kind of coupon or a QR code that's offering some kind of incentive to join your loyalty program. You got a loyalty program, right, Steve?
Yes. And then
Yeah.
when you go on self delivery, the data is yours.
Oh, that's
You,
cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
yeah, you get all the customer information,
I
their
learned
direct
something
phone
too.
numbers, everything.
See, I learned something new. That's awesome. Yeah. Are you using SMS marketing or more email marketing?
Oh yeah, both of
We
them.
do a lot of everything.
Yeah. That's the best thing to do. Perfect. Awesome. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate that, man. Hey, I learned something new today. I love that when I learned something new too. That's awesome.
Yeah, guys, for anybody who's on the call today and you're in our advertising program, like our full done for you advertising program,
Which is awesome.
and you, yeah, and if you want us to make you some QR codes that you can slip into the third-party
Ooh,
delivery orders to sign up for your email and your text list, just
that's
send us
awesome.
a
Yeah.
Slack and we can design those. That's super simple.
Yeah. And I know Toast has marketing with their POS system, and they also
Yeah.
launching in January, they're launching an SMS program with their Toast software. I have a couple people who are on the beta for the SMS with Toast, and they love it so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you prefer on the menu everything is combined, or the customer can customize products? It depends on your concept. If you're more of a fast casual place, most people customize. Most of the time, I try to make it easier for people. Think about it this way: Chipotle, everybody knows who Chipotle is. Chipotle has 15 ingredients. If you do the math, it's 5,400 combinations, but you don't go to their website and there's 5,400 combinations for you to pick through. Take you forever. So they have it customized. It depends on your concept. If your concept's more of a build your own kind of concept, yeah, you want to make it customizable. But most of the time, you want to keep it streamlined as best as you can. Okay. Does that make sense? Yes. We love questions here. We love the questions. Anybody else have a question? I will tell you that the Restaurant Accelerator program is hands down the fastest way to grow your restaurant, because you're going to get the most tools and the most accountability, and also you get a lot of calls with us, with me and my team. Cool. Awesome. Anybody else have anything?
Guys, if you got questions, this is a
Yeah,
awesome time to ask away.
Do we work with coffee
Alex.
shops, just restaurants? Oh, everything.
Everything.
Coffee shops, bakery, catering places, food trucks, you name it. You name it, we work with it. I work small, you know, my kind of niche for me, I love independent restaurants. 1 to 6 locations is like my sweet spot for me. Yeah. Can you make a combo strategy that adds more products? Yes, of course you can. Yeah. But you have to look at your menu and see what your menu is. Dark kitchens, dark kitchens, ghost kitchens are still kind of available. They lost their popularity after COVID. They were hot for like 2020, 2021, and 2022, but they've kind of died off. What's the biggest mistakes coffee shops make when they're serving food? Biggest mistake coffee shops make is not upselling. They just basically are order takers. Not having enough equity or enough kind of depth in the menu to offer a well-rounded variety of stuff, or offering too many things like that. Okay. All right. You guys can always email me, donald@therestaurantcoach.com. I'm always happy to answer your questions. You know, Luke and I work together. We're here to help each other out. So if I can help you out, let me know. I had a guy today trying to get, wanted to ask me about coaching. And I said, hey, you got to get into restaurant growth. That's where our coaching program's at now. What do you guys recommend to improve the ergonomics of production line for ACI balls made from scratch? I'd have to look at your line. You'd have to send me a photo of your line. Send me a photo of your line, and then I would also need to know how many components are in the acai bowl. Okay. Workflow is a huge thing. This is a problem with second-gen restaurants. A lot of restaurant owners, you pick up a second-gen location where second-gen is basically someone else had a restaurant, they went out of business, which a lot do. And then you picked up the restaurant space. And then, unfortunately, you're trying to take that square peg round hole and try to make your menu fit into their outdated or not workable workflow, and then you're screwed. That's another huge problem. So a lot of times when people say like, how do we improve ergonomics or workflow? I need to see your workflow. I need to see your kitchen design. I need to see like, what's the cold tables look like and stuff like that. I worked with a lot of like juice places. I've set up a lot of juice places from when I used to do a lot of consulting. I've set up a lot of juice places from scratch, like those kind of things, like the Nectars of the world. I used to do a lot of consulting with those kind of companies, and I used to help them streamline their efficiency, because my background as a chef really does help with that kitchen efficiency part. Okay. Yeah. Slack is where we chat. Slack is where we chat. I am horrible on Slack. Luke's trying to get me better. I'm trying to get better on Slack.
Yeah, you're getting better.
I'm getting better. I'm trying, man. I'm doing it. I even used I said the T word. No, I'm doing it.
Hey guys, check your email. We sent everybody a invite to the private Slack channel.
Oh, that's awesome. Am I in the Slack channel for the webinar?
We just created it and we just added you.
Oh,
so
awesome.
You're in there now. Yep.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So you guys can hit me up on Slack.
Yeah. Yeah. So this private Slack channel, right now there's only 33 people in there, but there'll be around 500 once everybody joins. So guys, if you have any question, if you have any challenge whatsoever, use the private Slack channel and ask away. It could be regarding literally anything. This is a community. This is a support group. So, there's other Facebook groups out there. In my opinion, they're free groups, and you got a lot of people moaning and complaining and stuff. So this channel is obviously a paid group, and to keep out a lot of the complainers and people like that. So if you have questions, ask away. Support people who are asking questions in here. I just had a couple people recently say, hey, how do we get more reviews? Boom, shot them a quick video on how to do it.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
If we don't have the solution for you, there's going to be other restaurant owners in there who have probably been through that same situation as you before. And anyway, so not the most difficult thing to understand, but it's a mastermind group, it's a support group, so just use it to your advantage.
It works. It works. Awesome. Thanks for being here today. I appreciate everybody. Hit me up on Slack.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Donald. Appreciate your time.
All right. Thanks, man.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.